This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by the Podcast Reach System. Are you ready to exponentially reach more profitable customers? Launching and hosting your own show is your proven best solution for networking, client attraction, and establishing your celebrity expert brand. Visit www.podcastreachsystem.com and claim your rightful place as the leading star of your industry so you make a difference for your community, market, and audience. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I'm your host, and I am honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. Right now, we're speaking with Michelle Faust, and she is an interesting person because she does a lot of stuff with Lemonade. She's known as the Lemonade Legend, founder of Lemonade Legend. Now, that's a company that offers both print and media exposure through her anthology series, digital magazine, a publishing house, podcast, and virtual stages. And she's also a producer of 2 TV shows. A lot of stuff going on there. And one of the reasons I wanted to have her on is because she is known for her work connecting people with their stories and their stories with the world, which is one of the missions of the Brilliance Plus Passion Project, which is to celebrate entrepreneurs and change creators who make the world a better place through their contributions to it. And I feel that Michelle is definitely one of those folks. Michelle Faust, welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to dive in right now and first of all, ask you, how does the work that you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
Well, I believe that there's power in storytelling, and for a number of reasons. My favorite subject, so I could go on. But essentially, the power is in the growth and the impact. So the growth comes from both personal and professional growth, and the impact the same. And the impact also on others as you will inspire others through your story. So yes. I always go back to the emotional side of it, even though there's a business component. I do believe in connecting with your story, and being able to put it on paper is just an incredibly powerful thing. It's so much different than just having the knowledge in your head of what you've been through in your past, but putting it on paper is incredible. And then publishing it is just a whole nother level of amazing.
Right.
And it just, it's empowering for people. And as I say, it's inspiring for others who relate to your story and feel like they're not alone. And they're inspired by hearing people who can get past, their obstacles and challenges.
Yeah. I want to change things up a little bit and do something slightly different from our usual way of doing the Brilliance Plus Passion interviews, because I already explained to our audience very briefly what Lemonade Legends does, like what services you offer, and you touched on it a bit more in your answer. So I'm going to substitute one question, if that's okay. Do I have permission to do that?
Yep.
Why Lemonade Legends?
Well, because the business started, I rebranded from an entirely different business when I wrote The Lemonade Stand, which is an anthology with now 2 books. And that was a collaborative book for women sharing their stories. So it was lemon to lemonade stories. It also, the Lemonade Stand represented to me so many different things. That's the first entrepreneurial type of job for kids. It made me think of Lucy and Peanuts, when she would put her, the doctors in on the lemonade stand, because telling our story it's really also all about our mental health and wellness as well, and it's community. So that's how I came up with the title. And then unfortunately, when I decided I was going to totally rebrand and focus on sharing stories, the lemonadestand.com was taken. so where am I going to go? And so I looked at a number of things, and I realized in looking at the meaning of legend that it fits us so perfectly because, storytelling itself is has been brought down for centuries and many centuries, and we're all legends of our own story. So it resonated with me that it was a great kind of blanket or umbrella, I should say, title for everything that falls under that name.
I imagine you get some questions with a very unique, bespoke brand like that. What are 3 of the most frequently asked questions that people will share with you as they're going through their process of deciding to work with you?
So I think one of the main frequent questions I get is, what if people judge me? That's typically the number one fear people have of putting their story out there, regardless of what their story is. It can be incredibly dark and deep and painful. It can just be, it can be anything. But they're afraid that people will judge them. And my answer to them is always, if someone would judge you for what your past is and for how you have managed your life coming out of that, are they someone you really want in your life? And every time I get the answer, no, probably not. So that kind of takes that whole idea of people being judgmental away, because they realize that who they really, really want in their life are people who are going to accept them for who they are.
Yeah. What are some questions you wish people would ask?
Well, I wish they would ask me if I will help them to be real and authentic, because that's my goal. And so if it's coming from them, then I know that they truly want to be real and authentic, and I'm not going to have to try and drag it out of them. Because people are very protective of themselves, their story, their past. Another good one is, well, I have to go talk to my spouse, or it's not quite the right time. Again, the response is, well, if not now, when? When are you going to do it? So why is another time a better time than now? Or if you're worried about your spouse, just, stand in your own power. This is for me. I need to do this for me. It's not about you. This is my story, and it's about me sharing my voice. I guess the last question, too, is the one that has come up very frequently. So it led to my membership. Is, what if I want to start small? What if I don't feel prepared to write an entire chapter or book, or put myself out there in a big way? So I did create a low-cost membership, so we can kind of bring them along that path of writing their story, of getting used to being in front of a camera, learning marketing and things like that. So if they don't ask, I don't get a chance to let them know that we have different options.
Wow, that's something. Just on point number 2, a friend of mine who, by everything he's told me, has a wonderful marriage, knows that there are going to be things sometimes that need to happen that he and his wife may never agree upon. So they have a mutual understanding, from what I'm told, that if one of those things come up and one of them needs to make a decision without consulting the other first, or they know it's something that has to happen, but it's something that they'll never actually agree on, they have the phrase, this is not one of those things we have to agree on to do. Now, I know that you can't apply that to everything, but joining your membership program, I mean, that's something that one spouse could do without having to have the full buy-in of the other. Again, I'm not the world's authority on relationships. I'm just saying that I've had this thought that if you have perfect harmony and agreement, I think about what that quote that's been attributed to General George S. Patton. If everybody in the room is thinking the same thing, someone isn't thinking.
Very good. But yes, you're so right. Because if there is that spousal, pushback, the beginning level of the membership is $27 a month. Do you really have to ask your spouse to spend $27 a month? And it's an
Yeah.
opportunity too, as they're going through the writing workshops and kind of creating their story. Draw your spouse in, share what you're doing in the membership so that they start becoming comfortable with the idea of sharing your story.
Right, right. So you've set up something that makes it possible for people to work their way into this incrementally. So it's one thing to go to your spouse and say, hey, I want to join this $10,000 mastermind. It's another to say, hey, I want to try this thing out and it's only $27. We spent more than that on dinner last Saturday night. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'll just let you know how it goes.
Yep, pretty much.
Different conversations. And that $27 gives them 30 days where within 30 days, the spouse, significant other, business partner, what have you, might be saying, and why aren't you in that $10,000 mastermind? Look what this is doing for you.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
So you could flip the conversation.
Yep. That, then they get permission to jump up to the higher level and just say, okay, let's go for this. It's
exactly.
just such an easy way to tiptoe in.
Yeah. All right. So we have about 5 minutes left here. So we're going to switch to lightning round. And this is the part where we get to have some fun, discover more about Michelle Faust.
Okay.
First question. What is something that people who know you would be surprised to learn about you?
Okay, well, some people know this, but I will share the story of just over about a year and a half ago. I spent 5 days in lockdown in a Louisiana jail. And when I say lockdown, I mean I was on suicide watch. Not a story that I was comfortable sharing in the beginning. I was kind of horrified that it even happened. It ended up, it was a huge misunderstanding. All charges were dropped, so that's a good part of the story. But here's what I learned about it. And here's what's important, is that for 5 days I didn't have a voice. Because I was on suicide lockdown, they treated me like I was less than nothing. So if I tried to ask a question, if I tried to ask for anything, I simply didn't have a voice. That's what I'm giving to my clients. That's what I'm giving to the women who come to me as a voice. And at that moment in time, I knew I had a purpose that was truly important.
Wow. And what do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
But I'd like them to say that I'm honest and trustworthy, because I try very, very hard to follow that. And I also hope that they will recognize my desire to serve others. I like to make money just like anybody else, but I think it's a win-win when you can pay your bills and at the same time you're able to serve others and put them up there in a priority.
If you could go back in time and change one thing you've done or one thing that's happened, what would it be and why?
Gosh, there's things that I wouldn't change, but I suppose I would go back and learn to have creative balance in my life, to spend more time with my children. That's a common thing that's said. It's hard to have it all. But now that my children are grown, I realize that I missed some big chunks of their childhood, and that maybe I could have learned to have done things a little bit differently without compromising myself.
Sure. What famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what questions would you have for them?
Well, that person would be Jesus Christ. And what I would ask him, am I doing the right thing? Am I serving your purpose? Because that's what I try to do with the Lemonade Legend. I try to feel like I am serving the purpose that I'm on earth for. But sometimes God doesn't talk as loud as you would like him to.
Yeah.
So you have a tendency to question. And so that would be my question, is that, am I hearing your message right?
Well, the funny thing is they say that God actually answers all prayers. Sometimes his answer is silence.
Yeah. It's okay.
And being able to recognize that and work with it, and perhaps his silence is actually him giving you the guidance that you need, not necessarily the guidance you want, because there's a difference between want and need. Just like in marketing, we speak of what a person says they want, what a person thinks they want, and the thing that actually gets them to respond to buy something. Possibly 3 different things. And it's the third one that you need to be in alignment with as an entrepreneur in order to increase your ability to serve your community, market, and audience from your intersection of your brilliance and your passion. What motivates and keeps you going when you're having a tough time or facing a challenge?
And I do have tough times, certainly. And it's usually my workmate who I work very, very closely to. And she brings me back to remind me of the beautiful outcomes that we have had. She brings me back to say, you remember that book that you were publishing, and it didn't have any substance to it. It was a great story, but it needed so much work, and you made something really beautiful out of it. So it's those reminders that make me say, yep, that's exactly what I'm here to do.
That's outstanding. Now, finally, and I know you have something for our listeners, and I'll share that with them in a moment. In general, right now, what is one action you want our listeners to take as soon as they finish listening or watching this interview right now?
Well, I think it's the link I gave you for the gift, but I really want people to go to the website and check out the membership, because I do believe it's such an important starting point for so many people that just look at it. See if it's something that might really fit into where you want to go and be in life.
Yeah. Is it fair to state that what you would say anyway, you've actually encapsulated in a curriculum or something organized they can log into right now and follow step by step so they can see some sort of gain or benefit today?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So it is up and running. We have a masterclass every month. We have webinars from really great business leaders. It's still evolving. We're going to start the actual writing workshop in July. So yes, jump in now, because you're going to start getting a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, everything's always evolving. So let me display the link right now. It's lemondroprising.com, lemondroprising.com/membership. If you're on our website at brilliancepluspassion.com, you can see that link on the description of this interview you're watching or listening to right now. And basically, what's going on with that particular URL, as Michelle sort of presaged to you just a moment ago, is it's a membership program where individuals can craft their stories for publication. It includes workshops, webinars, and masterclasses with business leaders around the world. And we've also spoken a little bit about it over the course of our conversation. So, Michelle, with that, thank you once again. It's been an honor, and believe me, an education.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I hope you have a great, great day.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.